Welcome to BISambition, and this is Malak.
Hi, I'm your guest host today, and I'm Athena.
And today's episode is going to be about CAS. So today we have two Year 13s with us. Could you guys please introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm Oliver Burns. I'm a Year 13 student, and I'm an IB student.
Hi, I'm Bart. I'm Year 13 as well, and I'm doing IB as well.
Okay, so CAS is an important part of the IB course, which you need to do in order to get your IB diploma. So could you guys tell me about like the experiences that you guys have done for each of the components of CAS? So CAS, C for creativity, A for activity, and S for service.
All right, so what I did for creativity, I decided to do something that I thoroughly enjoyed. I recently started getting into film and photography. So I went ahead and bought myself a disposable camera, and I created an Instagram page for that. And for my creativity, I just basically took a load of photos and just uploaded it to the Instagram page. And it's done pretty well. And I think that was a really good idea. I just did something that I just enjoyed. Cooking as well. I did a lot of cooking for my creativity. Just tried new things like cooking steak, cooking salmon, just anything really, but just being ambitious. And then for another creativity, I think I did some sort of artwork. But yeah, what about you, Bart?
Yeah, for the activity, I've been going to the gym for the past few months, which I really enjoy doing. And it's just basically that I added a reflection like each week on what I was doing, which takes like 10 minutes. And I've been doing baking as well for a few weeks. So just like baking cake like once a week. That's what I've been doing.
How would you recommend people to like pick out their CAS activities and experiences?
I think the first thing they should think about is something that they like to do. So it's not like they're doing something that they don't like.
I think also take every single opportunity you are given. Especially with service, because at times that can be the most arduous one to get the most reflections in, because you've got to have like a fair amount of balance between each, I guess, strand of CAS. So it's creativity, activity, and service. With service, I basically just took every opportunity. Miss Grange was kind enough to upload a bunch of opportunities for CAS, one of which was a lifeguard internship at Yas Waterworld, and I took part of that. And not only in that did that go under the activity section, it also went into the creativity and service section. So just because you're doing something tailored to one specific, I guess, strand of CAS doesn't mean it's not going to be allowed to be, I guess, slotted into other strands. So for example, I don't know, with service, you could be, I guess, mentoring someone for sport. Not only are you doing service by helping people, but you're also doing activity at the same time. So I guess like really opening your eyes and just take every opportunity you have for CAS, and I think you will do very well in your CAS if you do that.
Yeah, I think that's like a good thing to add on, because as of right now, this podcast is already our CAS project, and it lies under all of it, the creativity, activity, and service. But I've spoken to a lot of my friends, and service is kind of the harder one to fill in, and so I think it's good that you mentioned that, our teachers are here to help us with the service sector and parts like that, especially because it requires us to go out of our comfort zone sometimes. But the next thing I want to ask is, what makes a good reflection? Like, reflection to a lot of us can mean different things. So what would you say is a must to include in the reflections?
Well, if you just make like a summary of what you did and then add like a evaluation basically, and then as last, I would add what you would do better the next time, and that's basically all you need.
Yeah, similar to Bart, I basically, just from doing it a lot of times, you come up with your own structure, and what I did was that I said what I did. So, for example, if I was cooking, I said what I did. So basically, but I didn't just say, oh, yeah, I cooked food. I said, like, oh, I found a new, I guess, recipe, and I used that in a cooking book. I used it from a cooking book, and then I just basically created a meal from that. And so I gave a rough outline of what I did, how I felt about that, basically saying like, oh, I was really proud of myself because I managed to nail the timing on the food. And then so what you did, how you felt about it, what you would do better if you were to do it again. And then another one would be, what you're going to do next. So, for example, if it's an ongoing thing, you would say, oh, next time I'm going to try maybe hit a medium rare on a steak, or maybe next time I'm going to try create a new sauce for my steak. It's basically those things that I just did. It was that structure that I followed every time, and just worked quite well for me.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that we need to make sure that we include like what we need to improve and how we've improved it, so that it shows that we're developing new skills and overcoming challenges and stuff, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you pick out CAS experiences or ideas that are related to like what you want to do in the future? So like, for example, like they give us like MUN and like debate clubs that could help with law. Like, do you guys have any ideas about like other things?
In my opinion, I think you kind of got to work backwards. I think you should already have a rough idea of what you want to do, and then you work kind of backwards from that. So, for example, in my scenario, I want to go study BSc geography in university. So then what can I do to tailor, I guess, all my CAS experiences towards that? I decided, okay, or as well as my career, I want to have a position in leadership. Okay, so I just thought to myself, okay, what's a good opportunity for that? So from there, I decided that I would basically run my own CAS project, and that was basically a club called Be the Change. It's like an eco-friendly club, and we did a sale of like reusable bags, and that's basically going towards what I've done to my course. So like geography is all about, my section of geography is all about environment and looking after the environment, sustainability, and that's basically what we were promoting from that. Additionally, for my career, I want to be in a role of leadership, so I put myself purposely in that role of leadership and running it. So I kind of hit every single nail on that. So not only have I done something that would tailor something towards my course and I can write about in my personal statement, but I've also done something that will give me experience for my future career. And I think that's something that is really important. So maybe think ahead of what you want to do in university and maybe as a career, and then work backwards from that. And then you can really figure out what you want to do. And I think CAS is a really good way to tailor, I guess, what you're doing right now into your course. So, yeah.
I think that's great. Like, it's a good example. It's good advice. You know, not many of us put a lot of thought to it because, like I said, CAS is pretty new, especially being year 12s. You know, we don't really have a broad idea of it yet as much as we think. There's so much to it, so much more to it, and so much more you can like put yourself out there for CAS. But I know personally, like, I definitely don't know what I want to do in the future. I don't have a specific idea. So I was gonna ask Bart, are you on the same level as Ollie? Like, do you immediately knew what you wanted to do, and you were...
No, I've like decided like 2 months back when I was deciding on what uni I was planning to go to, what I was like wanted to do. But when I started to do my CAS reflections and all of the ideas, I just looked on the internet like what was a major thing of what people did, and that was the gym. And I think because I saw that a lot of people just went to the gym, I started doing it as well. And then I like found out that I actually like it, and I kept on doing it after I finished my CAS reflections for that.
Right. So I guess that falls under the idea of how CAS is useful to us. Like, How would you say it has benefited you? Like, for example, you didn't know what you wanted, right? So it was more of finding things you wanted to do or finding things to fill in your CAS for. And so after all of your CAS projects and all that, like, what is the conclusion? Have you learned something new? Like, how did you benefit from CAS essentially, besides, you know, getting into your university or building up your portfolio towards your future, your careers and stuff?
I've learned... What have I learned? I've learned that I like to do fitness, but I've also learned that I don't want to do anything within it as a job, basically, because that's a bit too specific for me. For
fitness, so it's more if you kind of just develop a hobby in a sense, right? Basically. From the CAS project, and you find that you enjoyed it yourself. If CAS wasn't, you know, essentially needed, would you say you would go to the gym either way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now it's just more putting effort, and you're more into it now, like, because of CAS, it makes a habit out of it.
Let's say if we didn't have CAS, I wouldn't have found out that I like going to the gym, and I wouldn't have found out that I like it as a hobby.
Okay.
I think a good piece of advice for CAS is that don't see CAS as a chore. See it as an opportunity to tailor what you're doing right now to your future. I think that's a really good thing to, I guess, think about, because if you think, oh, shoot, I've got CAS to do, I'm just going to bash out a bunch of reflections that mean absolutely nothing to my future. Don't see it like that. Like, when you're writing your personal statement, I definitely know people who struggled with thinking about, oh, shoot, what have I done that can go towards my personal statement? And I'm saying to them, well, maybe use CAS as that way to write, I guess, to do stuff towards your career. I think CAS is a great way to just tailor. I think CAS is a great opportunity to tailor stuff to your career.
Yeah, well, speaking of CAS, there's also work experience. Sorry. Mm-hmm. So how have you guys gone about like getting work experience, especially with like COVID-19 restrictions and everything? So how have you guys been able to do that?
I was lucky enough to be able to do an internship over the summer of 21. I was a lifeguard, and with that, it wasn't just about, just laying around there. It also really goes towards your career and your future, because when you do that, I got first aid training, and I got a certificate for first aid training. I also got an Ellison Association's lifeguard certificate for 2 years. You get a lot of qualifications, and you get a lot of like essential things that not many people would have, like throughout all the interns. We're all trained in CPR and like how to, I guess, save someone from drowning, towards like heart attacks and all of that stuff. So that's something that's kind of makes you stand out from the crowd. So for me, the work experience has been really good. The teachers are great at just promoting all the work experiences you can do in Abu Dhabi. From my experience from the lifeguarding, I highly recommend it. It's great. You get paid. And also came out with incredible qualifications. And I know that Yas Waterworld this summer, for those who are interested, Yas Waterworld are going to be doing that. Warner Bros are going to be doing it. I think Ferrari World's also going to be doing that. Climb's also doing it, and that's about it. So there's a lot of opportunities. You've just got to really put yourself out there and just be open to it, really, yeah.
Yeah, also like the teachers have also done a great job putting things on Teams for us, and like giving us access to websites like SpringPod and stuff like that, so that we can do work experience online as well as what you said, like in real life.
Yeah. I think it's useful. It's good that we have the kind of support that teachers give us, so we don't have to be really stressed about that. But I mean, Ollie, you seem to be doing quite a lot, and it's great. So I mean, of course, it's CAS is essential, but I was just thinking, out of all the things you were doing, how do you manage to balance it? Because you are doing a lot, and that it's helping you, of course, in your for your universities. But essentially, we have our subjects, our HL subjects with E and all of that. How would you say CAS is?
How do I fit it into my schedule?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, basically, the first way to, I guess, CAS not a chore is, I think I said this in the last podcast, just do what you enjoy. I know that is quite quite cliche thing to say, but just do what you enjoy. Sports. I don't know if like Bart, you like going to the gym. Write that as your reflections for activity, and just pick out stuff that you really enjoy. If you're a chef, absolutely go for it. Just do everything that's a part of your hobbies and include that into your CAS. And one thing that I did was that during form, I had about 15 minutes to myself before everyone else started coming in, because I came quite early. And within that 15 minutes, I was able to bash out about 1 to 2 reflections per day. And that will really crank up all your CAS reflections that you have. So I think, especially in form time, especially for the year 12s, I highly recommend getting all your reflections out the way as soon as you can. So then year 13, you can spend your form time just maybe, I don't know, talking to your teachers or maybe sending out emails. But in year 12, I highly recommend in form time, just write 1 or 2 reflections each day. And the accumulation of that will just make you hit the 60 mark within no time.
So that it doesn't build up in year 13 and you have to sit for hours trying to remember what you
did. Yeah, in 13, you've got to have focus on other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think CAS should affect it.
That's true. And backtracking to what you meant by enjoy yourself, I think it's if you're doing something you like, you make more of an effort, you make a commitment to it. So it's not like, oh, you've got a bunch of assignments due and you're like, oh, and then I have to do my CAS, and it's kind of like, instead it motivates you. So I think that's a good point, and it's important, honestly. As like you said, as cliche as it sounds, I think it is important to do something that you like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Also, would you say that you like got like you started CAS in year 12 and you like tried to get it out of the way, or like did you start in year 13?
I made a few mistakes with my CAS, to be honest, but this is, I guess, an opportunity for me to give you my advice and I guess help you guys out so you know on my situation. In year 12, I was quite consistent with it, but then I all of a sudden stopped, and I don't know why. I think it was just because I had just the EE going on and stuff in TOK. But if I carried on that consistency, I would have been able to finish it probably halfway or towards the end of year 12. However, I only finished mine towards the beginning of year 13. But yeah, I definitely recommend getting it done by year 13, because year 13 is going to be an absolute, I don't know what to call it, but it's a big storm, I guess. And having that CAS in the way isn't the most auspicious thing for people. So just get it out the way in year 12.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But also remember that it needs to be consistent throughout the 2 years. So maybe when you're done with like your project,
don't rush it, because then it's just
experiences or stuff like that in year 13, so that you don't have much to like do, I guess. Yeah. So do you guys have any final tips for us?
Do you have any coaching, Bart, for your gym, since you're like going regularly?
Just do your reflection on something that you like. Always make sure to add a picture or a video of what you're doing to have the evidence of that you did it.
Yeah. Proof.
But
no
other
lying.
than that,
Do you guys have any questions for us that you're a bit unsure about, or maybe the viewers might be unsure about CAS?
I would say initially, I think for reflections, I'm really, for some reason, like particular about it, because it's like, that's what they're essentially going to read. They're not actually watching you do it. Of course, you have pictures and videos, but on my CAS, on my reflections, I think I go pretty, like, I write too much or too little. I don't know, because it's like I have a lot of thought, like I describe what I'm doing, and I say how I feel at that moment, yes, but ultimately, like, sometimes, I just get carried away with my reflections.
And also, I have a question. How did CAS help you with your personal statements?
Well, funny you ask that, because CAS definitely impacted my personal statement in an extremely positive way. First example was my CAS project. Eco-friendly, going towards a geography course, I've got to have something geography in it. Service, I also went out, collect some rubbish in my free time. I know that sounds quite sad, but I just thought I'd do it just because it's A, for CAS, and B, it's a good thing for the environment to do, and it looks absolutely incredible in a personal statement. So CAS really gives you the opportunities to tailor what you're doing now into your future. What about you, Bart?
Yeah, I think that by doing CAS, it showed me that I had enough motivation to do something for multiple months. And I'm doing business administration on uni. And one of the requirements is that you need a lot of motivation, because it's a very long-going thing for the next years. And they mentioned multiple times that you need the motivation, and I could show by doing CAS that I have that.
Like perseverance and commitment.
Yeah.
That's a good course. I'm thinking of that as well.
Yeah. So I guess we're done here. Well, thank you guys for
thank you.
No worries.
And thank you guys for listening to our podcast. See you next time.
Thank you.